Good morning. It is another start to the vlog and another morning with sourdough. And you know what? I don't hate it. This has so become like part of our routine in my life. And if you know anything about having followed my videos for the last several weeks, routine is where I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get to some sense of like normalcy in my life. I don't know what normal is anymore. It's been years since like there's been any true consistency in my life, and I need consistency, you guys. Like, my poor brain is struggling to grasp onto any kind of like, oh, this is something I can rely on. So I've done my walk, watching a vlog. I did my walk. I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna actually feed my sourdough starter so that I can prep the pizza dough this evening. I'm not gonna walk you through any of this because, like I said, it's become part of the routine, so you've seen it before a billion times. But I am gonna chat to you while I do it, if that's okay with you. Look though, I mean, so sorry, hold please. A moment for the very healthy starter. Like, oh, I'm so proud. Honestly, I really had way too much starter in there. I fed it yesterday with the intention of baking yesterday or like prepping a loaf. And then I just was like, it's not even worth it to do because right now we're just not eating the bread and I could give it away, but I'm also not like confident enough in my ability to do this to like, it tastes good, do not get me wrong. But I can't always rely on it looking like something I would want to gift to somebody, even just like a rogue, hey, this is for you kind of gift. Although, you know what? I'll be honest, if someone did that for me, I wouldn't care what it looked like. So maybe I need to take that into consideration. So I discarded a lot, which breaks my heart a little bit, but it is what it is. I need a lot for this because I am gonna make the regular batch of dough this time. I'm not gonna half it. But anyway, if you guys saw my last video, my eat in the day, what I eat in a day video, then you know I'm getting over being sick. I do feel fine. I have this like lingering tickle in my throat, which is extremely annoying. So I will do my best to cut out all of the annoying throat clears. Every time I do it, all I can think about is the movie The Family Stone, where the Sarah Jessica Parker character has that like tick where she clears her throat all the time. And the Rachel McAdams character is like fixated on it as to one of the reasons she doesn't like the girl or like doesn't trust the girl. It's all I could think about, especially when I was laying in bed last night trying to fall asleep, which was nearly impossible with the tickle in your throat, by the way. And like every 30 seconds, I was just like, it's like all I could think about. Anyway, so it is Wednesday. We are going to hope that this Wednesday goes a little different than last Wednesday. Again, if you saw my last vlog, then you'll know a week ago my car died. My husband did fix it. It was done being fixed on Friday, so that was great. And this week has been a little bit different, again, because I've been sick. Oh, I think the kiddo is awake. Hold, please. Okay, I'm back. So this week was a little bit different already just because I was sick earlier this week, which if you're a mom, you know, like being taken out by a sickness, not ideal. It's just the worst possible thing that could happen because truth be told, like I still worked. I still like was able to do my job, but like doing the kid stuff when you feel like you can't lift your head off of a pillow, especially doing the kid stuff with a child with as much energy as my son has, just nearly impossible. It was tough. Not to mention, like, I didn't really have much of a voice and I could talk, but it hurt so bad to talk. So I tested, I was negative for the flu, both of them A and B, and I was negative for COVID. So I don't know what it was. A day in bed really did the trick and I felt better the next day, but man, oh man. So glad that's on its way out. I have quite a bit to do today. And one of those things is actually, I got called out a little bit, not actually, but a TikTok that I saw kind of called me out. And it was like, it was saying something to the effect of like, you're not lazy, you're lost. And like a lot of procrastination is like a symptom of like depression in some categories. And that really got my wheels turning a little bit. And so I want to dive a little bit deeper into that as the day gets started. Did I cut my hair?
Yeah, look.
No, it's just up in a clip. There was a time in my marriage where I made everything teriyaki with a side of mac and cheese, Velveeta mac and cheese to be exact. I just, you know, if I think back to those days and I try to get back into the brain of the girl that I was in those moments and try to explain to her that on a random Wednesday you would wake up and think, you know what, we need bagels, and that you would just make them. I haven't made my protein bagels in a minute. After school, if you have a good day. After school, if you have a good day. I'm out of my protein powder, so I can't make my protein pancake taco thingamajigs. So I figured let's make some protein bagels and make like a breakfast sandwich on those. So I've already like mixed up the dough. If you're curious about them, I've posted TikToks about them. I'll link the TikTok with like the actual recipe in it below. But I'm just prepping those right now. I also was going to wash my hair today, but we are supposed to get like some serious severe weather. And I don't know about you, but I don't really want to waste a hair wash day on a day that it's going to be super windy and rainy. Just not it. So you're just gonna have to ignore my hair for today. I don't really care. I'm not really going anywhere. I'm just... These just come out so good every time. I'm gonna make my little sandwich. Coffee pods to refill. Ooh, and I need to get more coffee. Gotta make a stop. Maybe tomorrow morning we'll go play at the coffee shop and get some more espresso. But the thing that I want to talk about, and I actually saw 2 TikToks last night that kind of hit home a little too close, and it basically was addressing the fact that, which I mentioned earlier, like feeling lazy, and it's because you're lost. I wonder what the other one was. Let me see if I can find it. Did I save it? Is the question. I've been saving so many TikToks lately. Okay. So this TikTok is what I saw, and it's important and it makes sense. I'll see if I can like insert it here. Can I save it? See the video. I can save the video. So I'm gonna play the video now.
If you're as gifted as you say you are, sometimes the gifted gets gifts that don't make sense. God gave me a gift called denial. When I tried to get that building, I've been sitting there for years, and I went and walked around that building, prayed on the doorsteps of the building, preached in it with a hole in the ceiling. When I tried to buy the strip mall next to Forestdale, we stood in church. I got the keys, failed every inspection possible, lost every dime I had on my earnest money. He gifted me with failure. Only problem is, I didn't know it was a gift till it came time to negotiate this. Now I'm sitting in the room with this like, no, we need inspections. I want to make sure we do so-and-so. Let's put this right here in escrow. Let's make sure we do an amortization sheet for XYZ. And they looking at us like, what school you went to? Failure. I went to the school of hard knocks, majored in hell, trials, and tribulation, but graduated summa cum laude because I knew God, what he had for me, the devil couldn't take from me. I got spiritual intelligence to discern an obstacle from opposition. Obstacles develop you, opposition distracts you. I know what your next level look like. I'm gonna put something in your present that's gonna develop you for your future. But if you ain't got spiritual intelligence, you're gonna think it's a problem, not a present. I'm proof.
And while that's the TikTok that I saw, and it is valuable and it's important, it actually unlocked something that felt, again, a little too close to home, which is these 2 things go hand in hand. Hold on, let me get my thoughts together because I feel like I'm a little scrambled. Feeling lazy is actually just being lost. And then the other thing is be prepared. Oh, wow. I just threw espresso all over my floor. Oopsies. Okay. When I was pregnant in the office, by the end of my pregnancy, the brain, it just wasn't working. And my sweet, sweet friends had this like running joke, which was just, it was funny, but it was also just really endearing to me. Like it felt really, I felt seen and understood and supported. They would go, all right, take 2. Like, let's just try that again. So take 2. We have lazy is just being lost. No espresso in my hand on this time. And then being prepared. So that TikTok that I just shared kind of reminded me of what happened in 2023 where I've shared a million times about how I lost my job and my book went viral and it kind of like set me on this journey, right? And as much as that was such a gift, it was also kind of a lesson, because a gift is going to come to either teach you something or it won't come until you're prepared for it. And so this thing that you've been praying for over and over and over again isn't actually gonna come until you're ready for it. Meaning either like your internal metrics, like you've got some spiritual learning to do, life lessons to learn, like you got some things to take care of in that department, or you literally have to get prepared for it. You have to make the space for it. You have to be in a place in your life where if the blessing and the gift came to you, you are prepared to take care of it. You are prepared to see it through. And it got me really thinking about what happened in 2023, where I got everything I asked for. It all came screaming in, and I wasn't prepared for it. And I feel like that taught me such a valuable lesson that I've been sticking my head in the sand about, that I just don't even really want to face for a number of reasons. Like I feel a little bit of shame about it, because how is it that I got everything I wanted and then I let it all go to waste? But maybe it wasn't. Like maybe that wasn't what all of that was. Maybe that experience was literally just the lesson, which is, hey, I'm prepared to give you everything you want. And this is kind of what it looks like, right? Like this is as good as it can get. It's gonna be like this and better. It's gonna be like this and more. But it's no good to you unless you're prepared for it. And I've been, without really knowing it, without really being able to articulate it or like put my finger on what it is exactly that I've been feeling or what I've been struggling with. But as far as like my work stuff is concerned, not my job, like my job's good. Like my job, I know exactly what I'm doing. That's why I like having a job is because I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly what's expected of me. Jobs are good and clear as long as you have a good boss, or you work for a good organization. Being in an organization that's not organized, or you have a boss that's not clear, very different, but that's not my case. Like I work for a great organization with a wonderful boss. I love my job because again, I just know what I'm doing and what's expected of me. When it comes to my own stuff though, less clear, right? Less sure, little lost. And when you're lost, it's hard to take action because you don't know where to start. I was just thinking about the fact that like earlier today I mentioned having the pizza dough be something that I do on Wednesdays because that's what sets us up for the best success for Friday night pizza night. It took me some time, right? I had to figure out what didn't work in order to figure out what does work. And then now I know, okay, I've got to feed my starter on Wednesday morning. I've got to prep the dough on Wednesday night. I got to prep it early enough that I'm not up till 9:30 at night. Otherwise I don't want to. It'll bulk ferment overnight and be good to stick in the fridge on Thursday morning. Thursday evening, I can separate the dough into the pieces that I need, freeze or store in an airtight container, and voila, we get to have pizza on Friday. I know the plan because I took the time to figure out what does and doesn't work. Where I'm at right now is I'm like spiraling in this shame circle or this shame cycle, because how dare I ask for what I want again when the last time I got it, I don't want to say like I messed it up, because I don't think I messed it up, but I just didn't do with it what I really could have. And it's because I wasn't prepared for it. And I wasn't ready. Like I didn't have my house ready for all that company, right? And they got uncomfortable and they left. Not really, but like that's the only example I can think of. But those two things I saw yesterday really just help drive the point home. That's something for some reason that's really hard for me to allow myself to do, is take the time to prepare. And that seems insane because I don't know if you know this about me, but like back in the day, I literally had a coaching program that was designed for entrepreneurs in order to design their business structure so that it kept their dream job dreamy. Like my entire business was centered on preparedness and planning and strategy and structure. And I'm good at enabling, like I'm good at enacting those things. I'm good at identifying what those things need to look like and how to enforce them and how to bring them into reality, but especially for other people. But for some reason, when it comes to my own stuff, and here it is, this one's gonna hurt. When it comes to my own stuff, I don't take myself seriously, and I don't take my business seriously enough to give it that type of attention. Like I said, that one hurts. So, all of this mumbo jumbo rambling is to clue you guys into the fact I have some things coming. They're not coming for a hot minute because I am going to take my time to get prepared for them and be ready for them. But let me just hint at it here. If you are lonely, if you feel alone, if you are struggling with feeling isolated, if you're struggling with not really knowing who you are anymore and like how to find yourself when you don't know who you are anymore, if you kind of miss the idea of a group chat, or you were never a part of a group chat with your girlfriends that like, I don't know, like I remember back like several years ago, I had a group chat with two of my best friends, and it was all day chatter about everything and nothing. And it was during a time in my life where I felt very lonely. I was living in a very, very, very small town, very isolated from everything and everyone, but I didn't feel lonely because I had my friends. Like I was talking to them all day long. I miss that. And maybe you miss it too, or you've just never even had it. If those are things that you're like, yes, Joey, yes, 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 keep your eye on my spaces because I have things coming. And it's something that I've thought about for a while now. So I want to give myself the permission to be less lost and set myself up for success and be prepared for the gift by kind of getting everything aligned the way it's supposed to rather than rushing. And I feel like in the past, a lot of what I've done has been rushing. And I actually saw a TikTok this morning. There was a lot more to it, but the first line that came out of this woman's mouth was, if I have to rush, the answer is no. And I was like, oh, I've resonated so hard with that. Like that was something that just hit me right in the gut and feels very aligned with kind of where I'm at in my life right now. We are getting ready to get like really bad storms, and my golden retriever is just like, I want to be outside. Oaken, you want to be outside? Oaken wants to be outside all the time. All the time outside. You're a big fan of outside? Thank you for kisses. You're a big fan of outside? So that was a lot of like chitty chat chat. But something I've learned about myself is I am somebody that has to like talk things out. I have to talk it out for it to make sense in my head. And sadly, you are the people I do that with. So you're welcome. Thank you. I don't know. Anyway, let's move along with the day. Look how she's grown. She is, she's ready. It is time to prep the pizza dough, and I'm happy to report that it is almost 5 o'clock, not 7:30 this time, so we're making progress. Today was not as dramatic as last Wednesday. However, on our way to school, my mom calls me. Actually, I hadn't even left the house yet. She's like, are you taking Wade to school? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, we're in a tornado warning. Okay, well, I haven't heard anything from the school that it's canceled, so we're going. And then as I'm driving, the teacher's texting like the entire class, the afternoon class, and it's like, we're all in the hallway with a tornado warning. So if you guys could like hang tight before you come for drop off, that'd be great. So it was pretty gnarly getting out there. I was coming from the other side of where all the storm was, so I was just driving through some crazy rain. But yeah, that was pretty intense. And then now the sun's out, so that's North Carolina weather for you. Let's prep this dough. I'm not going to share the process again because I've done this 100 times. Whoops. If your cabinets don't do that when you open them, then we probably can't be friends. But anyway, while I do this, I did want to quickly chat about what I got accomplished while my kiddo was at school, because I was very productive, and I kind of want to share because it goes hand in hand with the conversation we were having earlier. All right, I need 190 of start. You know what I should do? Is just move this that has the recipe on it to just sit right in front of me while I'm making this. Wouldn't that be so much easier? Wow. I'm telling you, I live 90% of my life making things as difficult as I possibly can for myself, with the intention of making things as easy as I can. So it's just, I'm a walking oxymoron. But anyway, so after I completed a pretty big project for my job, I spent a decent amount of time. I'm gonna cringe saying this to you because I feel like it's something I should have had years ago, but I spent a decent amount of time writing a business plan. It's nothing fancy. It's honestly pretty basic, but kind of like, remember earlier today, I was like, hold on, let me gather myself because I feel a little bit scattered. That's how I feel with my business in general, because I have my fingers in so many different pots. I don't ever really know how those pots are working together, but I know that they could be working together, and I know they should be working together. I never know exactly what I'm supposed to be focusing on, but I know I should be focusing on everything, so then I focus on nothing, and then I don't get anything done. It's a vicious cycle. We've talked about this before. So once I have a second to kind of like sit down, I'm actually gonna go over the business plan with you, because it kind of like hurts my feelings a little bit how straightforward and basic it really is, because it seems like one of those things that would have just given me a lot more clarity a long time ago, but it just felt so big and overwhelming, and like I wasn't official enough or couldn't take myself seriously enough to do something like that, which again is just completely bogus. So I felt really good getting it all down, and I feel like I now have like a guideline to be able to actually execute what I'm doing. It also helped me kind of lay out the timeline, so I'm not trying to like sabotage myself thinking about year 2, year 3 goals, when really we're still just right here, right? I mean, I'm not in year 1 of my business, but you know what I mean? Like right now we're in this year. I'm not thinking about next year or the next year. I need to look at right now, like where are we? So I don't know, it just felt really good to kind of like get an overarching view of all of the things that I'm doing and what I want to come out of those things and how those things can kind of all work together in one way or another. I'm gonna lose my count. 620. Well, that was a lot more water than I needed. If I haven't made it clear before, anytime I'm cooking, it's chaos in the kitchen. Honestly, curiosity got the best of me, and I ordered these, like those Nello drink mix things that everyone talks about on TikTok. I ordered them off of Amazon after a good friend of mine, who is not an affiliate of anything, said that they actually really work. And as I mentioned, it was earlier today, that I'm like coming down from like a lot of like high stress and cortisol. I figured it was worth a shot to try. I've only had it a couple of times, I think maybe 3 or 4 times. It tastes really good. I got the strawberry lemonade one, and I've had it cold and I've had it hot. So yesterday and the day before, when my throat was hurting so bad, I was actually drinking it like as a hot tea, and it reminded me a little bit of the medicine ball from Starbucks, which ironically I don't love, but this actually tasted really good as a hot beverage. But today I'm gonna drink it cold, and I'm gonna splash a little bit of the Crystal Light into it because that is also really yummy. When I had it hot, I just had it as it was. Oh no, where's my scooper? Do you know where the ice scooper ended up? Oh, it's just frozen in a block of ice. We're good. What a perfect little mocktail. Oh, it's so good. And if it can help kind of like, I feel like I'm just holding on to like extra weight and extra bloating. I don't even know what to explain. I feel like I'm swollen. And if this can help, and my friend says it does, then I'm happy about it. So I'll link it down below. I got mine off of Amazon, not TikTok. And it was a better price on Amazon too, so. For a hot second, I thought we were out of tortillas, which I know is not a reality in my house because I bulk buy tortillas. Like, it is the one thing I just constantly buy, even though we don't need them. And then they end up going bad because I buy them so much. It's just like that one, everybody has that one thing, right? Like, everybody has, like, maybe they're buying ranch or they're buying like certain type of butter, whatever it is. Peanut butter, I've heard people buy a lot of that. It's just the one thing I just constantly buy and we don't need them, but I do have them. So we're making steak quesadillas for dinner tonight because I got leftover meat, and a steak quesadilla with a homemade quesadilla sauce with frozen french fries in the air fryer is delicious. Super yummy. Yo, hot dog on a stick is ready. Do you want straws? Okay. That was so condescending. Thanks.
Yo. That wouldn't have been that bad without the pat.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been.
The double pat.
Like, it's like when Wade gives us a hug and then he gives the like pat on the back. I'm like, you know, bud, it just kind of takes out the whole meaning of the sweet hug that you're giving me when you give me that like, what is it, like the ass out hug with a pat. Oaken is praying with all of his life that something drops off this plate.
Milk?
There is some milk missing somewhere in this house. It was in a green cup.
Yeah, I know the cup. I don't know where it is.
That is a
Hey, where's your milk?
worst nightmare. Don't drink it, just find it. Okay, so this is Greek yogurt, Ortega taco sauce, and then I think just like a little bit of seasoning. Like I think I might have put like a little bit of onion powder, a little bit of garlic powder, maybe some salt. I don't think I put anything else in it, but it's really yummy. And it takes like a homemade quesadilla to the next level. I think this might be a bad idea, but maybe it's not. I don't remember if I used to boil the pans. I feel like I did.
I do a little bit.
Well, what you do is of no consequence to me, my guy.
My jokes were in generalities. That was a specific targeted attack. I feel attacked.
As you just saw after dinner, we played a game. It's called Monopoly Deal. It was our first time playing it. We got it when we were supposed to get all that snow and hadn't really gotten a chance to play it yet. So it was actually really fun. We're very elementary with it at the moment because I don't know that we even saw all of the like potential cards to be played. It seems like it could be such like a dirty game to play. Also, probably a lot of fun with like a group of people. So if you're looking for some type of like fun card game to introduce, we really like playing card games. That definitely seems like one that we will keep in the rotation. But like I promised, I am going to share with you, hold up. Okay, sorry. Like I said, I'm going to share with you guys my business plan, which let me pull that up. So I keep all this stuff in Notion. I've talked about Notion before. If you have any interest. Sorry, our neighborhood has some like drama happening in it. And so neighbors are texting and asking questions. I'm not involved in the drama. It's just, you know how those things go. I'm gonna silence this for the moment. So if this is like the first time you've ever clicked on one of my videos and you have no idea who I am, I have, like I mentioned earlier, my finger in a lot of different pots. I have a job, like a regular job. I do that part-time. I keep my son home full-time up until recently. In January, he started with a special education preschool program. So he goes there part-time and then he's with me the other part of the time. So I've only just recently introduced any type of like consistent help into my regime. I'm an indie author. I published my first book in 2014. At the time, I had a pretty successful blog, and that was essentially like all I did to market that book. I really didn't do anything with it. I never really intended to do much with it. The goal was to publish it. I published it. I sold a handful of copies to loyal blog readers and family and stuff like that. And it was good enough for me. I lost my job in 2023 very unexpectedly, and I panicked because I was the breadwinner of my family at the time. And I went onto Amazon. I went into the back end of that book and I made it as cheap as possible and made a video on TikTok and was like, hey guys, like I don't do this ever, but I need help. And this book is $2.99. I don't care if you ever read it. I didn't say that in the book, but like basically if you want to help a mom in need, could you maybe buy this book for $2.99? Well, that video went viral and people read the book, which was super shocking to me. And then they loved the book, which was even more surprising to me. And then they decided to just essentially bully me in the kindest way ever on the internet until I just accepted the fact that I'm actually a writer and that I might actually be good at this. And they demanded that I continue writing, which was all I've ever wanted to do in my entire life. Like if you know me at all in real life, you know that's all I've ever really wanted to do. I have two things that I've only wanted to do. I've wanted to be a writer and I've wanted to like be encouraging to people. And that was such a cool experience. I published my second book in the fall of that year. And then we've talked about this, but I ended up in like a rabbit hole of self-sabotage and here we are. I've had the blog since 2009. I have the 2 books that I've published. I have my TikTok. I have this YouTube channel, which is obviously in its infancy, but I'm having fun with it and I'm gonna keep going with it. And aside from that, I did have a company in 2016 through I think 2018 with one of my best blogging friends that we just rocked the hell out of. Like it was super successful. It was a freelance, like a creative freelance company. And we just set it up in a way that was really profitable and very successful. And it was so much fun. Side note, I ended up having like a bit of a mental breakdown at the end of 2017 and ended up selling that company because I just could not any longer. But anyway, so all of that is to say that like I have like an entrepreneurial background and I have the bug to kind of put what I know into practice and create like this thing, right? I had my blog that I've had all these years has gone through a few different rebrandings and it was once upon a time called Hodges Podges, which is really cute. If you ask me, I kind of regret ever changing the name, but I had this grand idea, gosh, like 12 years ago that I was gonna create this thing called Hodges Podges Inc. And it was gonna be all of these different entities of media and it was gonna be this like a YouTube channel, it was gonna be a podcast, it was gonna be programs, it was gonna be digital products. It was gonna be all of these things. And anyone I talked to about it was so excited about it. And then I just didn't do it because I talked myself out of it because I got scared and I didn't take it seriously because it was something I wanted to do and it was something I was creating. But if I was the one consulting somebody else doing that thing would have launched and it would have been so successful and it would still be going today. I never did it. And that's really disappointing. And kind of where I'm at now, I've sort of, in a way, done a lot of these things. I've not taken the intention to like weave them all together. So, enter the business plan. The mission is to encourage and inspire female individuals to reconnect with themselves, gain confidence, and build a fulfilling life through storytelling, content, and community. So my core offerings are inspirational and practical content on YouTube, TikTok, and my blog. I have my fictional books with empowering themes. And then I'm launching something very soon. I'm not gonna name exactly what that is. That essentially will be like a place for like connection and nurturing this community that I'm building. And then digital products and programs, which I've mentioned in the past. I have a whole bunch of them that I've had for a while that I just took down from my website because I was like, working a regular job in an office full time and I just didn't think I'd ever fall back into this life, but they're really kind of great products and programs, so I probably should find a place for them to exist in this new launch. I have my target audience kind of narrowed in. I say narrowed in, it's not really that narrow because essentially I'm kind of speaking to women, and maybe you guys can correct me if you are consuming this and you're like, hold on, wait, I'm like not in that bracket. Let me know so I know. I have my analytics and I think I have a pretty strong grasp on who I'm essentially talking to, but most of my audience is between the ages of 27 and 40, even climbing higher than 40. Like I have a pretty significant spike in like the mid to late 40s as well. They're pain points. So tell me if this is wrong, but the pain points of my audience are they're feeling a little bit lost, they're feeling a bit stuck, disconnected from themselves, and a little disconnected from their dreams. They've felt like they've kind of lost themselves either in that post-college, getting married, getting into a career, and the routine and monotony of life, or they're in a season of life where they're like deep in the trenches of motherhood, and you've lost all sense of any form of reality aside from like keeping tiny humans alive. Or they're right on the other side of that, where those kids are now in elementary school, or even older maybe, and you've been a stay-at-home parent all this time, and now the house is empty during the day and it's quiet, and you're feeling a little bit like listless, like what I feel like I should be doing something, or I feel like I want to be doing something, but maybe you're so exhausted from that season of life. That's kind of like the pain points of my people. And apparently, according to my analytics, you guys are hanging out on TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and like a handful of like rogue other communities. But I have several revenue stream options. I'm not gonna go into too much detail with this, but obviously content monetization, once those things become eligible. My blog has been monetized for years, so that's already there. I'm not too far away from TikTok being monetized. I think I'm less than 2,000 followers away from getting into the Creator Rewards program. So if you guys wanna like go and follow me on TikTok and help me make that happen, that'd be awesome. I'll have it linked below. And then fiction book sales, obviously I have 2 books. They're young adult, they're pretty great. So if you want to go and check them out, I'll have those linked in the bios or linked in the description as well if you have any interest in picking them up. I would recommend starting with the first one. It's Yeah Maybe. It is it's a strong read. Like people have like plowed through it in just a handful of hours, which as somebody that took years to make it happen, I'm like, I'm so glad that you liked it so much that you couldn't put it down, but also like, how did you finish it in like a number of hours when it took me years to make it happen? It's actually quite a compliment, but it's hard to stomach as the person who wrote it. The thing that I'm launching that I'm not gonna mention quite yet. And then I have my marketing and growth strategy, which this is the part that I've been the most hung up on. And the thing that kind of links all of these pieces together, I'm already doing these things, is the thing that's so frustrating to me. I'm just not doing them in a strategic way. And if I took a little bit of time to allow myself to take up the space that is necessary to take myself seriously and actually like add some strategy into this, we would be there. Like it's not like, oh, if it like inevitably we would be there. That's where this goes. So obviously YouTube, we're doing it, right? This is a thing, we've done it. TikTok, I fell off the bandwagon with that when the whole self-sabotage thing happened. I post sporadically, but definitely not as consistently. And I do have a whole TikTok strategy. I think I mentioned this in a recent vlog that I did create 2 burner accounts to be able to start promoting my books, because for some reason promoting them on my account feels really icky to me, and it gives me like such embarrassment. It's hard to get over. So creating these 2 burner accounts, I've created all of the content. I have all of the hooks and the concepts. I've written all of it. I have it all, like the captions, everything. Ask me if I've posted a single one. I have not. Why? Because I'm afraid of what? I have no idea. Because the truth of marketing is, it's a lot of throwing spaghetti at a wall. You are more likely to figure out what doesn't work than you are to figure out what does work. But it's like a numbers game. Like you just have to keep throwing spaghetti at the wall and something's gonna catch fire, like something's gonna move, but it's not gonna move if you're not doing it. So what am I afraid of? I have no idea, because the thing that I could be the most afraid of with that whole concept, hold please, let me let this dog out before he has a conniption, has already happened to me. Like there could have been there couldn't have been anything more than being tossed into the fire and then all of a sudden having this many eyes on something that I created, having them read the thing, and then immediately be like giving me feedback. And the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. And I've said this, I think on the vlogs, I definitely have said it to people in my life, that like that kind of thing, like I went viral because I was a mom who lost her job and people wanted to help. Like that is not lost on me. Like my book didn't go viral. I went viral because it was a story that caught people's attention and they wanted to help, and I'm so appreciative of that. But I've helped people on the internet in the past. I've bought their thing, I've done the thing. Did I ever open it? Did I ever even download it? Probably not. I just didn't, that wasn't what it was for me. Like I wanted to like make sure they had the money that they needed. So no one forced these people to read it. It could also have gone very, very poorly. Like if the thing that they bought, that they did decide to read, which again, just mind blowing to me that they took the time to read it. If it was garbage, they would have let me know because they owed me nothing. Either way, the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. It could have been career ruining also, and it wasn't. So what am I afraid of? Like, I've already had like mass numbers of eyes on this thing and telling me like, hey, you're actually good at this. What am I afraid of? What's stopping me? I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, the other part of it is blogs and Pinterest. All of those things are things that I've already been doing. I just need to, I mean, I have more written here. Like, I don't want you to think like, oh, that's all I have. I'm not gonna go like deep into the concept of it because you know what a business plan looks like. But the other part of it is lead generation and like building my email list, which I haven't really been doing a lot of. Again, I have an email list set up. I have an entire, I think it's weekly, newsletter template that I created that I was excited to launch. I just haven't done it. This is a lot of like false starts with me. I've essentially been preparing for this for a while. So to touch back onto the point that I was making earlier in this video, but like, I just have to rip the Band-Aid off. Like all of the pieces are there. I just have to like put the puzzle together. Like I couldn't have made things easier for myself. And the only thing standing in my way is literally myself. There's absolutely no reason I can't and shouldn't already be doing these things. And then the last key element is like community growth and engagement, which again ties very closely in with the thing that I'll be launching pretty soon. It talks about like what I need to like have my business operations and my systems running. So like my website is imperative, and like all of the key elements of making my website function the way that I need it to for like LearnDash, for like the like e-course part of it. Are you all done? Yeah. Are you all clean? Yeah. You're all clean? Yeah. Are you all clean to wear pajamas tonight and then wear pajamas tomorrow for school? Yeah.
Ooh.
I got to go bowling. That's so silly. You're gonna go to school in pajamas.
I'm growing.
You're growing?
No, I'm growing. I go.
Oh, bowling on Friday.
On Friday you're gonna
you're
go
gonna go bowling. And guess what? Tomorrow we get to see Mav tomorrow morning at the coffee shop where you get to play with toys.
And there will be coffee.
There will be coffee, but you will not be drinking coffee. But you can make coffee. Remember they have the coffee machine in the playroom?
Oh, yeah.
But you want to know it, you could probably get a cake pop.
Cake pop.
Cake pop.
What time are you guys going to?
Like 8 a.m.
Oh, jeez.
Bye-bye, Mom.
Bye-bye, love you. You ready to go to bed? Night-night, love you.
Night-night, love you.
Love you. And then under this heading, I also have like my tech tools that I need, my content schedule, and then like things that I need to automate. And so again, all of these pieces already exist. I'm just not marrying them all together to like seamlessly work and like work for me. And then obviously like my financial goals and projections. And so honestly right now, even though I've had a lot of these elements of my business for a while, I'm essentially allowing myself right now to start as if this is like starting at ground zero. And so basically for the next year, my entire goal, I'm not even worrying about really the income that comes from these things, because some of these things that make money are just going to continue to make money the way that they are, and I'm okay with that. But right now my main focus is to be like building my audience and launching the things and like growing my email list. And then my year 2 goal is obviously going to be to like optimize the monetization of all of those categories. And then the long-term goal will obviously be to like continue to grow that. And I'm not gonna go into too much detail about all of that because like only so much to be said on the internet about my business. But yeah, it was really just kind of eye-opening for me to like sit down and write all these things out and realize how much of those pieces I already had. It's not even like, oh, I know what I need to do, I just need to do it. It's not even really even that. It's like I already know what I need to do. I already have those pieces created. I have plans for them. I have templates. I have digital products that are already created and ready to be sold. I've just not, I don't know, like given everything a place to live and like given purpose to all of those things. And it was really just, it was eye-opening. It was relieving, honestly. Like it felt like a relief to sit and see what actually needs to happen and where the disconnect is, so that I can kind of like stop staying in this place of being, remember when we said like lazy, really it's just lost. And then this side over here is like to be prepared. I didn't realize until I started to build out this business plan that I'm more prepared than I realized, which actually feels good to recognize, because I have felt like a little bit of a waste of space for the last like year and a half. And I don't mean that as dramatically as it comes out, but like with everything that happened with my son and in my personal life, I felt like those things took so much from me. And I was focused on those things so much that the only thing I had left over was to like focus on my job. But it's also like, I almost want to like give myself a little pat on the back, because I've obviously been showing up in this category of my career as well, more than I realized I had been. And I think because I haven't launched another book or launched anything major, I felt a little bit like I haven't been, and I haven't had like the substantial growth that I was looking for. Obviously with YouTube starting in January of this year, I've seen more growth in the last, 8 weeks, maybe 10 weeks at this point, than I have in like the year and a half that I had the channel prior. So like, obviously there's something to like focused energy and being intentional and consistent. And if I could just apply that to every other avenue of all of these things that I already have, like it's not like I don't have to create anything out of scratch. Like it's all here. I just have to put the pieces together. So I hope that this part of the video was like actually interesting to you. I realize that this is probably going to apply to like a niche handful of you. So the niche handful of you that are still here and watching me ramble and kind of lose my thread a little bit, I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm excited. I feel like I have direction. And now that I have this in place, I'm going to be able to sit down with my Notion and kind of like break these things down into action steps that I just do repeatedly. We've talked about this in the past about how like goal setting is really just about paying attention to the ports of call that you're trying to make it to. And when a ship is cruising out on the ocean, they know where their final destination is going to be. They can't see it, but they know if they keep doing this one consistent thing over and over again, Alexa, stop timer, and they're gonna make it to their next port of call. And then from there, they're gonna do those same things over and over again until they make it to the next port of call. And if they just keep making it to these ports of call, eventually they're gonna make it to their destination. So I gotta lay out my ports of call and make 2025 like a really good year. And I haven't shared, and I'm probably not going to share like some of the personal stuff I've had going on. But even in that category, because I know I've mentioned quite a few times that like things have been hard and rough and excruciating and heartbreaking and all of these things. And I know I mentioned a lot in Janu Daily that like doing that challenge taught me so much about what I'm seeing when I'm consuming things online, because you think you see the full picture. And I was posting vlogs every single day, and I was going through something in the background of my life that was consuming me. And a viewer of these vlogs would have no clue that that's anything we were dealing with. And it's just a really eye-opening thing to realize, is that like what you think you see is not the whole reality. I had a point to saying that. I've lost the thread. I don't remember where I was going with that. Oh, I know where I was going with all these things. I just found the thread. Gotta love that brain. The whole point I was trying to make is, even on the personal side of things, everything is kind of falling into place and improving and getting not just better, but like revolutionized and transformed, and everything is starting to feel good and purposeful and warm and cozy and safe and secure and settled, which is not something I'm familiar with and I'm trying to get familiar with. But I feel like I should say that here, because I know I'd mentioned in the past that like things have not been great. And obviously I started therapy and all of that, which has also been going really well. But not just for my business in 2025, like all around, like Joey as a whole is going to have, I'm putting it out there, the best year I've had in a long, long time. From my lips to God's ears, let's make it happen. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. I'm sure you could hear my kid just losing his mind laughing in his bedroom because for some reason when my husband puts him down for bed, there's like 14 minutes of WWE happening where he's just having the time of his life, but also like there's a lot of banging and crashing and probably bones breaking in the process. I don't know. I'm sure when your husbands put your kids to bed, it's very similar. I'm not sure why that is because it's a very different experience on the nights that I do it, which is rare if I do it. But for whatever reason that my husband's not here, it's much more peaceful than this. But anyway, thank you guys for being here and hanging out with me for another vlog. If you guys resonated with this content at all, or you just feel like we could be friends, go ahead and subscribe, like the video, and comment down below and let me know if there's something you're working on for 2025 to make this the best year yet. And I will see you guys all again very, very soon. Bye.